Like I said, I've been going a little too crazy. It's like Christmas. Some nice big jugs, 5 gallons. One's gonna be for Kalkwasser. So look at all these corals. Look at all these. Oh my God, he's crazy. If you don't know what it's like to order corals online, it's exhilarating. Guys, it's another exciting day once again. We're gonna do a whole video today on the 125, which actually, this is around the 10-month mark that we've had corals in this 125. I have always wanted a coral tank with coral and reef fish, and so this is like the pinnacle of my aquarium existence, basically.
Don't need friends, I have you.
I think our first corals were purchased in September of last year. We bought quite a few corals. Everything you're about to see is based on my experience, and my experience thus far is about 0. So like I said, this has been only about 10 months that I've been learning about corals and water parameters that are so beyond what I ever had to deal with in freshwater. It's been so exciting, and honestly, I didn't think I would have been able to grasp so quickly some of the things that you need to know to do reef tanks and corals and the names of corals and all this stuff. I feel like my evolution through reef keeping has been condensed into like basically a 10-month span, because I've watched so many videos, so many live streams, and just absorbing so much content on this kind of stuff so that I can become good at it. And I think I have become fairly successful in a fairly short amount of time.
I say, it appears my cranium has doubled in size.
These are the corals from the last video. Well, these are both Acropora. Also our yellow Fiji leather. We need to get him moved up to some higher light, and in order to do that, I think it's finally time that I figure out what some of the PAR readings are in this tank. And no, unfortunately, I didn't go out and buy one of, well, fortunately for me, I guess, I didn't go out and buy one of the really expensive PAR meters that are accurate. Some are less accurate, but also expensive, and some are accurate and expensive. I bought one that has actually really good reviews for what it is. You might be able to tell, well, I don't know if you can actually tell just from this, but I've heard really good things from people that I trust about this PAR meter. It's accurate to the point that it's comparable to some really high-end brands. The only thing that we're gonna have to look at is recently I think they swapped out some of the lenses in the PAR meter, and so it's not as accurate anymore, but you can just multiply the reading you get by, I think it's 0.17 or something. I'll put it on the screen right here. This is the value that you're supposed to multiply your reading by to get the correct amount. We're gonna get that out later in the video and go around the tank and figure out where all the light readings are and where the best place for some of these corals will be. And also, you might have noticed, which wasn't in the previous video, this hammer and this yellow wrasse back here. So the person that I got the frog spawn and torch coral from, I messaged and let him know that the hammer that I got didn't make it. And so he was nice enough to supply me with this hammer. I did pay him some for this. And also, he was breaking his tank down and he was getting rid of this yellow wrasse. So we picked up this guy and he's been terrific. The blue tang in here is kind of a menace to everyone, and occasionally he'll chase him, but 99.8% of the time, he's just chilling in here, and he loves it. So this guy sleeps in the sand at night and pops back up when the lights come on. So he's a really interesting character. I haven't had a wrasse before. And yeah, we got it's not coming through quite as well on camera, but this is a gold hammer. Looking really good. It's been in for a few days, 3 or 4 days, I think, at this point. You probably can't see it right now with the way the flow is, but this was in the process of splitting. And just this morning, I noticed that it had completely finished. So we're gonna have 2 heads in this guy. This guy has many more than 3. I think he's got maybe even 5 heads on here. So we are getting this tank absolutely chock full of corals. And it's been sort of slow, but over the last couple weeks, I've definitely been a little out of control these last couple weeks with buying coral. And oh, we also get inverts from the Facebook guy. We got a trochus snail, some Nacerius snails, a conch, which I haven't had a conch before, and that guy was pretty crazy. I mean, I've seen videos of people holding like big ones and how their feet move around and they kind of like jump, but this dude was lurching in this container as I was acclimating them. Dang! Whoa! What are you doing? What are you doing? Look at him. That's all right. I have it on video. Oh my God, he's crazy. He's great. Oh my God, he did it. This dude has more energy than me.
You have energy?
No, he has more than me.
You say that when you have energy.
Wow. It was pretty crazy to see, but anyway. So I've been going crazy the last 2 weeks, and I definitely need to chill out and let the wallet rest for a minute. But I was getting really inspired by this tank because it's starting to look the way I've always wanted a reef tank to look. And I've had success with the water parameters and everything. We sent off our ICP test a few days ago. That's not come back yet, but everything's doing really great. And I wanted to capitalize on that and hopefully not have everything like crash because I put so many corals in here at one time. Not all of them are hard corals, but still, this is like basically almost to the point where I don't want to like add anything else besides more fish and potentially start on a different saltwater tank because I think what we have in here is great. Like I said, I've been going a little too crazy. What arrived today was something else. It's like Christmas, except there's no Santa. It was a UPS driver that just dropped this off and I paid for it. So honestly, there's no comparison between reef keeping, like corals and fish and stuff. Like I have plants, and you can buy plants online. You can go to the garden center and buy plants. It's just like the closest thing I can think of to compare it to coral. Like coral they're like basically animals. They are animals. They're like little things that have personalities, and you can feed them, and they get grumpy and they're mean sometimes to other corals, and they're aggressive, but they're beautiful. And so there's nothing like this. There's just endless things to explore when it comes to corals and reef keeping and stuff. Before I get on to what's in this box, I want to tell you what else we're doing today before I get sidetracked and we start doing stuff with the corals. I already mentioned the par meter. We're going to get that bad boy out and check the tank, but I have a few things that I want to put into the sump. One thing I was waiting to do is add carbon to this tank before I sent off an ICP test because I kind of wanted to see what was in the water before I set up this reactor and maybe pulled something out of the water that was in it that I wanted to actually see on the ICP test. Now that I sent that off, we're going to set this up today. And because of all the new corals, I felt like it wouldn't be a bad thing to maybe have some extra carbon filtration to pull out some of the toxins they might be releasing, especially this yellow Fiji leather. I know that soft corals don't sting. They let chemical warfare be their defense mechanism. And so occasionally these guys can release toxins that inhibit the growth of other stony corals, and that I do not want to happen. So I think this is a big enough tank for this size of leather. Plus we're going to have the carbon reactor, and that'll help with that. I'll also run some phosphate remover in here. I'll probably do both of them in there just since this is big enough. Also, I got some jugs, some nice big jugs.
Giggity.
5 gallons. One's going to be for kalkwasser, and one is going to be for an ATO that I will set up in the future because I want this tank to be more automated. And let me show you what is absolutely not automated. This dosing pump that I have kalkwasser set up to, Ecotech Versa, this is not really behaving the way that I'd like. Before, when I set this up, I tried to have it dose a little bit during the day, and then the majority of it would dose at night. And so it really hasn't done that. It just sort of doesn't dose the midday, but it doses the morning. So the dosing app, the Mobius app, had to segment it into an evening, the morning, and then the midday. And for some reason it normally only doses the morning. In the beginning, I think it dosed the whole thing. So I talked to tech support and they couldn't really figure it out. So I'm either asking you guys or whatever, is there a way to set an Ecotech Versa to dose some during the middle of the day, and then your larger dose that you want to happen overnight to help bump the pH up or keep it more level, sustained overnight, have that be a larger dose and have it somehow not split up into 3 where it doesn't restart the dosing cycle except for the first dose of so like after 12 p.m. Then it starts in the morning and it doses until 9, and then it should pick up the next dosing routine, but it doesn't. But anyway, I have this in a 1 gallon jug and I have to refill this about every day and a half. So having a 5 gallon jug will at least be a little easier. And so we need to make some room in here. So I'll clean this up. And then hopefully we can fit both of these jugs down here. Well, and then we'll hook one up to like a Tunes ATO and make that a little bit less work to keep the sump topped up. That'll be a huge help to not have to mix up a new batch of kalkwasser every day and a half. So automation is key if you want long-term success. But even with that Ecotech Versa that's not dosing the right amount, or well, actually if it started dosing the amount that I have programmed in there right now, it'd be too much. What it's dosing right now, just in that one time segment, is perfect for this tank. I checked the alkalinity and other parameters a week and then 2 weeks ago, and everything is absolutely rock solid, no swings. So, I mean, it's working. It's working for this tank. It's not working the way it's supposed to, but everything in this tank is going great. We need to get these corals out of the box. Let's do that. This might be the most exciting thing that is possible to happen. If you guys don't know what it's like to order, something online, you probably do. But if you don't know what it's like to order corals online, well, let me just tell you. It's exhilarating. There's not really any mystery to it. Like, I know what I ordered, so it's not so much like a mystery box, but it's still interesting. And maybe, hey, maybe one day we could do like a coral mystery box where I don't know what we're ordering. Or maybe like Brittany orders some stuff for us, and then I get to be surprised by the mystery of what's in the box. We could do that with fish too. We should do that with fish, actually. I don't know how he fits all this stuff in here. The place I ordered from today is the place I ordered from the first time that we unboxed corals on this channel. The last video was Tidal Gardens, based in Ohio, where I am from. And this seller is based in Indiana. Indianapolis, Indiana, I believe. Not very far, especially not for an overnight shipment. So these guys really didn't have that far to go. Hey, a sticker. Nice. Let me know if this is crazy. I saw a video from Worldwide Corals, and they mentioned that sometimes it's better to introduce the corals into your tank, like visually inspect them, blow them off or whatever, with tank water. Visually inspect them, put them into your tank, wait a few days, 3 or so days, and then dip them if you notice there's anything on them, or if you just don't want to dip them. Because if you dip them right away, corals that have been transported or shipped or stressed from our frag swap can stress them out to the point where they die. And I have lost corals that I ordered online, mainly from the dip. I think that, so I ordered corals from here before, and I basically lost a TNT and Acropora. Actually, that might have been it. I don't think I've actually lost that much from ordering online, but I've dipped corals and put them into a quarantine tank before. They strip almost immediately. And I know that I didn't do anything crazy in the dip. We acclimate. I would dip them with, I think, a fairly mild dip. There are more mild dips, but I think the hardest thing on corals is the temperature acclimation and then the dip. So we made sure every time to get the temperature acclimation right, and then the dip. I mean, the last corals that I bought from Tidal Gardens, the Miyagi Tort, no, it was the Red Dragon Acropora. It said to not dip. I didn't dip. I visually inspected, put them both in the tank, and we still have Acropora. That's pretty surprising, despite the ones that I lost before with dipping. So I think we're going to mainly err on the side of caution from now on. And if there's zoas, we're dipping the zoas, no questions asked. If they're more sensitive corals, we're gonna visually inspect. Here we are. Let's get onto these corals now. So in this order, last time I think we ordered 9. We have how many this time? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Actually less than before. I'm not sure why it seems like I ordered more. Looking straight into it, first thing we see, Trempa coral, candy cane. Look how inflated this guy is. That's a healthy guy. Let's get him out. Nice. So we're gonna get them all out on the table quickly, and then we're gonna get them in the sump to acclimate. This would be, we have a candy apple zoa. These are really, really nice. I don't even know if I've seen any of these at the frag swaps before. Not much to see right now. So one of the corals that I always passed up, or didn't even really look at these corals, because of the fact that I thought that clove polyps were really the same thing as pulsing xenia. And I thought they were in the same sort of class where like they are super invasive and they just spread and they're really hard to control. But when I realized that that was not the case, and clove polyps grow relatively slowly and they're really easy to pull off the rocks, unlike pulsing xenia, which is really slippery and doesn't pull off very well. Apparently this pulls off of the surfaces that it's attached to pretty easily, so when it grows you can pull off what you don't want basically, and it doesn't really get invasive like that. So we have some clove polyps. Ooh, so this is the Season's Greetings Monty Cap. Nice. So we've got green with little red-orange spots. That's gonna look great in there compared to, oh yeah, see that light? That's gonna look great. Next, let's keep going. I think this is a Cyphastria. This is the, what is it called? Spellbound? Spellbound Cyphastria. Oh yeah. You gotta get them under the light to really appreciate. And we have another acan with a nice little pink sponge on there. So I have plenty of sponges, but I don't believe any pink sponges. Let's check out this acan. Oh yeah, look at that guy. So this, with this acan, yeah guys, 3 heads. Looking sick. 2 more, and we got a blue Duncan coral. Looks like 3 heads on this guy. Let's see. Oh yeah, that guy looks good, even though he's pissed. He's not too bad. He's a little stressed. And our last coral would be the Meteor Shower Cyphastria. Nice. See this guy? Whoa. We aren't gonna let any of these Cyphastria really onto these main rocks. We're gonna do something where either they're on their own island or in the back wall or something. So look at all these corals. Look at all these. Let's get them right into the sump. The clove polyps, I actually think I might try to put these on the back wall. Sort of how, I want to maybe even start putting coral back there. I do like this black background and how it sort of makes a nice edge, and it also makes a nice background to film corals in, because you just have the black abyss that's back there. But Inappropriate Reefer has some clove polyps up in the top of his tank, and it actually looks really cool how they come out the back and the way the light hits them. So I think that's actually a pretty good area maybe to start some. We might put them in a few different places, but that's just a thought for the clove polyps. All right, so we're gonna get these guys in the sump. So many corals, guys. Wow. And the candy cane. Gosh, this guy's so bright. Put your glasses on. Boy. All right, let's get this light off. We're gonna let those guys sit down there for 30 minutes. Actually, while these guys are acclimating, I think I'm gonna work on this area of the sump, clean this out, clean the skimmer out, get this nice and clean so we can put in the reactor and we can get some activated carbon in there, because I feel like we're gonna have some toxins from adding so many corals. They're probably gonna release something. So we're gonna get that cleaned out while these guys are acclimating. That should probably take about 30 minutes. So we'll put that in a time lapse or a sped up video and we'll get that taken care of. All right, so now that we got this section opened up, we will be putting that protein skimmer back in. While it's out of there, I still have to clean the protein skimmer, but now that it's out of here, we have plenty of room to work to find a good spot for this pump, as well as where to put our reactor. So we're gonna set this reactor somewhere, and I'm guessing it's not gonna be in the front. So I think we might have to push our little fan over all the way. I think the reactor is gonna have to sit right there. Kind of far from where the pump's going to be, but we'll just run the line over there, and hopefully this doesn't leak, because if it does leak, it might be a little hard to see back in there. But with this big protein skimmer in there, or when it will be in there, there will be almost no more room to put this, unless there is enough room. That's not the worst spot, especially for maintenance. It won't be very hard to carry that somewhere, because it won't be covered in water like it would be if it was sitting in this chamber. So I think I'm going to see if I can find some plumbing to hook this up, and then see if we can get this pump hooked up. Just a little vinegar, a little more. So there it is, all installed. Runs over here, adjust this if we need to adjust the flow. Then it gets pumped back into this last chamber. That is our media reactor. I think we'll add some activated carbon later today once we get all these corals in, and that'll help remove some of these toxins that they may or may not release, and just general overall water quality. These guys have been acclimating way long enough, so we're gonna get these out and we'll begin drip acclimating them, and I'll give them a look over and we'll see if there's any of them that we definitely want to dip. Finally time, let's get these guys out of their little containers. Nothing really stands out in here. So we're gonna throw this in the sump, start a nice little drip going on these guys. Okay, with those corals in there soaking now, we're gonna look at the PAR meter. Second only to the corals, this is probably the most exciting part of today, is actually getting a reading on what these black box lights are actually doing. So let's open the box and get into it. It seems like you get a lot more than the competition, obviously at this price range. We have a little booklet that I don't believe we're going to look at unless we can't figure this out. That's great. And this unit I purchased in July of 2024, and it looks like we have the version with the opaque or less translucent readers. So we're gonna have to use that multiplication factor to get a true reading. It's nice and heavy. I mean, I'm not sure if that really means anything or not. I'm kind of tempted to put some silicone around this little, the backside just has this little plate with these screws on it, and I don't know if there's a gasket in there. I hope there's a gasket, so maybe we won't mess with it right now because I just really want to get this thing, I want to see if this works. But we might actually take it out afterwards, take the back cover off and see if there's a gasket, and if not, I might put some silicone around there, because who knows if this thing's actually made to last. Something that is exciting though, I see, is a stick, because with some of the PAR meters, you don't actually get, oh, that's So it doesn't actually, it's a telescoping stick, but the first one doesn't stay out. Maybe we can lock the first one? Nope. So I guess be careful if you stick this in your aquarium and it doesn't like shoot out and kill a coral.
Hey, you guys.
I thanked them for including it, now I'm wishing they didn't. I take back what I said about this thing. Apparently it does work, I just don't know how to use it. So when you hold the handle, turning it to the like clockwise, like you're tightening it, locks it. So that's all you have to do. And then it's locked. Turn it to the left and then it releases. Not anyone's fault but my own. So this is actually pretty nice. I'm glad they included this. Micro USB cable, batteries, a screwdriver, wow, and a power brick. But hey, since we have a screwdriver, let's actually open the back of it up. Let's look at the main unit first. The master controller. Wow. So I'm sure that this screwdriver was intended to open the battery door, which we're going to do, and insert the batteries. Aha! A screen. Let's plug in the sensor and just see if it works before I take the back cover off. We have reading. Wow, that's kind of crazy. If that's right, that's like basically no light in here right now. 4.3, huh. Okay, I'm gonna take the back cover off to see if there's a gasket. Okay, so I'm gonna assume that this is waterproof because this first screw actually had some tape on it as a seal. So I'm gonna trust them.
Don't trust China!
If it doesn't work, I will return it and get my money back. Now, we're gonna put the end of it in our bucket of vinegar water and clean it off a little bit, as well as the end of our selfie stick. It looks like you just push it in here and it'll sit like that. Not bad. Okay, here we go. Let me pull up this Amazon review. VBR has changed the sensor to a more opaque version. The new version reads lower than the sensor I have. Check to pick with 2 sensors. If you receive your meter with the sensor that looks like the one on top, multiply your readings by 1.17. That will get you apogee aligned results. If you have the sensor on the bottom, do not use the multiplier. The VBR Aquatics matches the readings of the significantly more expensive Apogee 500 series par meters, and it does so for much less money. So people do like this meter. Unfortunately, it has this thing where you have to basically correct it to the old version that they used. 1.17, huh? Let us turn it on. I have absolutely no idea what our readings are right now. So outside the tank, there's really nothing going on. 1, 2. All right, so just above the water surface, not under the water, we have 219. So just under the water surface, this is directly in the middle of the light, we have 140, 120. Let's check right where the hammer is. It's about 70 right here. 70, 68, 64, 63, 58, 54, 53, 52. So right where this stylostiniella is, we got, oh, this angle is, let's take it down. Just about where that mushroom is. We got 41. Let's see right on the sand bed right here. 56, 51, 50. Okay, let's check the middle. So we've got 48 right here, and it's a little difficult because we have this glass that's doubled up on top. I have it folded back. So actually, I should test what the light is doing with this top down. So it's reading 60 right next to the hammer. So that just this top piece of glass, though it is a little bit dirty, just that coming in front of it takes it down by 10, about 10. I could check the other side, but I'm sure it's, if anything, I just have to maybe match them a little bit if I want it to be the same on each side. Okay, well that's enlightening. I mean, just to get an example, 1.17 times 60, that's 70. So 50 times 1.17, 58, 55. This is pretty low overall. I mean, I can understand why that anemone moved up there. Right now it's, how is it only 46 right there? 65? Okay, water goes up into the stick. Let's put our additional frag rack in here to hold some of these new corals. So the corals have been in this container acclimating quite a good amount of time, plus we let the water fill up and I emptied it out probably 2 or 3 times, so they should be good and acclimated by now. All right, we're gonna give these guys one last look over. I'll put the ones in first that I know look to be not a problem at all. Whoops, card got full. Not sure where that cut off, but it's getting kind of sweaty in this glove. We put in the Monty Cap, the Meteor Shower Cyphastria, the other Cyphastria, Pixie something, Fairy something, I forget what the name is, that Cyphastria. We put in the Duncan and the Kryptonite Candy Cane. Let's keep going. I think I have too many corals now, guys. Just munching on a little verminid snail there. No reason to let him in. And now the acan, micromusa, whatever. And we have one more. We have our little zoa. What do you think, guys? Should I bother dipping for one coral? This guy looks super clean. There's like no crevices that anything can really hide. So I'm gonna stick this guy in.
Oh, spiders! Spiders!
Last one. Let's have a look at these guys. My gosh, some of these are so bright. Look at this candy cane. So bright. Montipora. I feel like I need to show you on my phone. It's like, it comes through almost on the camera, on this camera. These look so good, even just moments after introducing them. I mean, none of them are really inflated, especially the Duncan. Clove polyps still closed up. You can almost just see this candy apple zoa. This one's so nice. Look at that guy. So anyway, we're gonna find some great spots for all of these corals, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2 more sticks for the back to really branch up and come off these rockworks. I think we're like, basically, like this tank is kind of full now. Once all these corals start getting bigger, we can duplicate a couple in a few different spots. This tank is gonna be really full, and I think it's gonna look great. Despite me in the beginning not giving it the best start with this rockscape, it's not exactly the way I'd like it if I redid it, but that's okay. This is basically my first reef tank. Let's actually end the video with a feeding. I am so happy with how this tank is turning out, guys. These corals, they started to come out even more now. This Duncan's gonna be great in here. See the clove polyps starting to show some color now? Oh, and the zoas too. You can't really get them from a good angle, but these candy apples are like probably my favorite now, or second favorite. So excited, guys. If you can't tell already, if I hadn't said it enough times. Everyone ready? 3, 2, 1. This sailfin tank has gotten so big lately. You getting anything over there? If you want, you can check out my Instagram. I'm probably gonna post a few photos of these corals once they're all inflated and looking great. And for other really strange reefing content, I'll post on there. That's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.